So perhaps we were hard on him.
What?
Look.
Girl, fuck him and Madonna Light.
Not Madonna. That is not Madonna. All right, so let me tell you. Yeah, so DaBaby has now been kicked out of a total of 7 shows since his iconic call and response fiasco at the Rolling Loud Festival. While people are rejoiced by this news, there's a lot of people on social media, i.e. people, that are saying, what are they saying? They're asking the question, is the energy kept with racist people or white people that are influential that get in trouble with certain things, that say certain things? Is that energy really kept there? Do you think that the energy is kept or not?
You talking about from the white folks? Because I think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about all these white LGBTQ activists and all this other stuff who are speaking out against DaBaby when other things happen. They're, eerily quiet. But I think that people care about the things that they care about. And it's really not fair to be like, well, you didn't say anything about this. Why you say anything about that? Because the reality is, be like, I didn't care about that. But who's really going to say that? Who's going to say that? Who really going? Because people ain't real like they supposed to be. But I think that DaBaby, he's just another example of Black people aren't allowed to make mistakes.
Okay,
I learned that early on. We're not allowed to make mistakes, especially when we've been given the opportunity to be wealthy. There is a standard that we're expected to uphold, even if we are in the position or even occupying a space that glorifies almost all things negative, right? Because there's a space, there's a market for that. You can't make mistakes. You get crucified. That's just how it works. And it doesn't matter how you handle it. Mm-hmm. This could be a point of evolution for DaBaby's whole career. I mean, him getting canceled could probably be one of the best things that ever happened to him.
Right.
But we just have to wait and see. Now, this whole Miley Cyrus coming to his aid and defense is like, girl, if you just want your song with him to come out and you not get any backlash, just say that.
Well, let's hear what she has to say. She made a post, and it was a message to DaBaby, and it said in quotes, "As a proud, loyal member of the LGBTQIA, much of my life has been dedicated to encouraging love, acceptance, and open-mindedness. The internet can be fueled with hate and anger and the nucleus of cancel culture, but I believe that it can be placed and filled with education, conversation, communication, connection. It's easier to cancel someone than to find forgiveness and compassion in ourselves or take time to change the hearts and minds. There's no more room for division if we want to keep seeing progress. Knowledge is power. I know I still have much to learn." Here's my issue with that.
Shut up, Miley.
That too. And also,
I love it because I said
it's always why we shouldn't cancel them. We need to educate them. Okay, fine. That's cool to someone that actually wants to be educated on something. But DaBaby is like, the only reason why he even came out, because he came out with an apology.
But the second one?
No, well, the one where he posted the little posted a little message. Well, he didn't write it. We all know he didn't write it. But this is only after all this is happening to him. Like, he's getting kicked off of festivals and stuff like that. So it's like all this bad stuff happened to him now. Well, but we need to educate him. I wanted to pass my math class a couple semesters ago. I ain't do a damn thing the whole semester. But then by the end of the year, I wanted to be educated on the shit so I can pass. But hey, I mean, you just wasn't. You didn't take the time, and you doubled and tripled down on your mess. Now, my thing is this: I think a lot of these festivals and companies, yes, they are being very performative. Let's be very clear. I understand that they're being they're being performative. We see it. Like it's basically just for the consumer to like, oh my God, like they're really progressive right now. His shows. at the same time, I don't have to have sympathy for them. I don't have to have sympathy for DaBaby.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, they are performative.
Let me tell you something. Going back to the business, right?
Okay.
If you and I were hosting a live event where people were paying their money to come and see us, give our production or whatever, and someone that's supposed to come is a social pariah at this point, and them coming would bring negative attention to what we've poured our money and energy into, guess what's gonna happen? I'm sorry, baby, you can't come. Sorry, you're gonna have to stay where you are, because that's not the type of energy that we want in our space. We don't want to be associated with this, and I think that's what's happening is the brands, not because it wasn't just festivals. Remember, he got dropped from Boohoo Man. Like, brands will disassociate themselves to protect themselves. At the end of the day, everybody wants to protect their own image. If you're going through your thing, that's your thing. However, by me appearing to support this thing that you're going through can affect my brand, and then people will stop supporting me. Miley, on the other hand, is showing one, this is definitely a move of white privilege, because a black artist came out and said nothing about we've got to educate him, we've got to be able to support. No, we ain't doing that. I haven't seen a black artist. You seen a black artist?
None.
We got to educate. Because the black artists that have opened their mouths were just as dumb.
And I want to say this, and I don't want to be too controversial, or not controversial, but too like, hey, well, whose side are you on? None of the female rappers who has big gay following said anything, and I'm gonna just leave it there.
What they supposed to say?
I mean, they could have said something. But they didn't have to. They're not. No one's making them. I'm just saying it would have been nice.
To be honest, nobody had to say anything. No artist. Nobody had to say anything.
But here we are.
Because now people are like, well, why didn't?
But here we are.
Why didn't Meg say something? Why didn't Nicki say something? Where is blah blah blah? What do you? What? I wish we had that Nene clip. What I got to do with him?
Well, I mean, Dua Lipa said something, and Nicki did work with DaBaby. I'm not and this is not me. I love these artists to death. You get what I'm saying? It would have been.
Nicki Minaj also worked with Eminem, who dropped the F-bomb in her song. Did Eminem not say all you F's can suck it in Roman's Revenge?
We are in a different time, though.
No, we're not. That was just 10 years ago. We had same watch. So,
allegedly.
So what I'm saying is, like, there shouldn't be any expectation from anybody to do anything.
Okay.
But in this particular moment, when it comes to DaBaby as an artist, is a moment for him to learn. I don't think that we owe anybody an education about anything, because you got on this big ass platform and said this stupid shit. And after the first moment of receiving the backlash, he was like, okay, well, maybe I did say something wrong. Let me figure out what was the wrong I said. Instead of him doing that, he just kept doubling and tripling down on it. And so once his publicist, or once he found a publicist that released that statement, it's like, well, this is contrived and we don't believe you.
Yeah.
We don't believe you. So Miley coming out and trying to be like this industry angel. Okay, I'm like, okay, Hannah, this is a Hannah Montana moment.
Okay, Hannah.
And
we all have to learn together, guys.
No, no, we don't. We don't have to do that. We don't. First of all, in the age of information with Google, you can really learn anything you really want to learn. People who say I wasn't educated on this, like, you got a laptop, you got a phone, you have a phone, you find information about anything. Anything.
Now, somebody said this on TikTok, and I actually kind of agree. It's like, if these white LGBT influencers want to sit there and donate their time to educate people that are ignorant, by all means, y'all do that. Y'all do that. But we're gonna do what we're doing. We're gonna hold people accountable and continue to do that. So
facts.
I mean,
I'm I'm all about open conversation. I think that there's an opportunity there. Kind of
Genuinely be open to have
there
that
isn't. Yeah, there's an opportunity there for us to have bigger conversations about, you know, the misinformation about HIV/AIDS and, you know, dismantling homophobia, transphobia, all those things. However, let's be real about it. You know, there has to be a genuine interest on both sides for there to be education, communication, and understanding.
Right.
You're not going to put me in there with somebody who is not mentally prepared to have that conversation. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah. Ooh, child, the dog had something to say. He had an opinion on it. Okay.
DaBaby was speaking about the dog. So the dog had to speak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing, because when I tell you, I got into many discussions, even with people that I know, people on social media and stuff like that said, well, you know, that was throwing that whole education thing, and I'm just like, okay, we understand like the whole thing, you know, cancel culture. This, I'm like, I get it. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like people don't want to admit that he was wrong because I feel like, I don't know. Like, is it because because it attacks, they feel like this argument attacks their sexuality as straight people? Like, I don't get it. Like, it's like, there's definitely been instances where people that were in the LGBT community were wrong with certain things and we held them accountable. So it's like this whole thing of keeping that same energy. I don't understand what you mean. We do keep that same energy. We kept that same energy with James Charles. We kept that, and there was a lot of gay people that kept that same energy with Jesse Smollett. That you know, there's a lot of people that still don't believe his story was true and that he was lying. There's people that held him accountable. So it's like this situation happened. This is a blanket. This is a textbook definition of homophobia in a public space. We hold them accountable, and we don't keep that same energy. We don't keep that same. We didn't keep that same energy last year when they killed George Floyd, and everybody stood up and went out and did demonstrations. I didn't do any demonstrations. I'm gonna be honest, but I did post about it. I did spread awareness about it on my show, when I was doing the blog. You're not here.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. Well, I mean, people care about what they care about, and
yeah.
The only problem is that when people join the conversation who aren't, I won't say qualified, but like, there sometimes when things like this happen, a lot of people jump in the conversation who aren't prepared to actually lead the discussion. So it's just a bunch of dumb people talking dumb shit, and it just all gets confounded together, and nothing really changes.
The blind leading the blind,
right? And everybody falls off the cliff. So, like I said, I just think that there is an opportunity for growth as far as keeping that same energy. What he said was offensive to a lot of people, and it's funny how we're talking about like two pieces of what he said about if you don't have, you know, any, you know, STDs or STIs that'll, you know, kill you in 2 to 3 weeks, if you're not sucking, you know, you're not giving head in the parking lot for the fellas. And then he was like, ladies, if you who just smell like water or whatever like that, and it's just like, nobody's talking about that part. If you put smell like water, put the light up, you know, it's supposed to be a good thing, right? But then again, it's like, okay, well, first of all, how degrading is that for women? So I'm surprised. Like, literally everything he said could have offended every person in there.
Yeah,
everything, the whole thing, all of it.
Yeah.
Imagine being. Never mind. I just can't. I couldn't imagine being in the crowd that night. As uncomfortable as I would have been. I would have been surprised to see that Adidas fly across the stage. I can't believe it's still in my brain. I'm like, I can't believe he would do that. Yeah, and then like, and then it's like you said it, the world, it rippled, and then you doubled down on it, telling us that we didn't understand the context through the screen, as if what you said live was different than what we saw on camera. Like, you really tried to Donald Trump us, and I ain't like that. I did not like that at all.
Not Donald Trump us.
Yeah, it's like, nigga, we just saw what you said.
News.
Like, we saw it. Oh,
that's what I said. That's what I said.
My gay fans ain't nasty. It was like, first of all, see, you just, and it's like he just kept it going. It's like, oh God.
I was like, Lord, yeah. I don't know how he can come for this. Like I said before in the last episode, I don't want to see nobody's bank account be zero, even though it's not going to happen. He has a big following.
That don't matter.
He won't have.
You can go real broke.
Mainstream following. I mean, the mainstream. Yeah.
But he did.
Levitating was your last pop song.
He was moving into mainstream, and so that's why I think Miley speaking up. There had to be something happening behind the scenes. Something happened behind the scenes for Miley Cyrus to put her name on this particular position. Something had to happen behind the scenes, because DaBaby had to be about to be about. You got to be about here, because Dua Lipa, who is clearly like a rising pop princess at the moment, and and the way that she's amassing, new listeners, and Levitating was an amazing song. Adding him on it allowed her an opportunity to cross over, and allowed him an opportunity to cross into a separate space. And for her to openly rebuke him is a big deal. It's like, yeah, I work with him, but I don't know who this person is, because I recognize who my fan base is. And I think what that does is like, well, damn, so of all the other gay artists, I mean, the gay fans of work that he's done, if I'm a fan of May, I'm a fan of Nicki, I'm a fan of Roddy Ricch, I'm a fan of blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm supporting someone who would say something so ignorant and offensive to me. Like, this is an idea that he holds in his head. This is what he feels. How do I continue to support that? And so it's not just that one person. It makes you think like, well, damn, I like the song. You go back into your R. Kelly phase, like some good music, but I can't put money in his pocket. I don't feel comfortable helping you sustain your lifestyle when you have this kind of ignorance or hate inside of you. Now, dropping pictures of him and Lil Nas X and saying that, maybe he was just ignorant. It wasn't hate. It wasn't intentionally hateful. But I was like, yeah, everything you said was intentionally hateful, because it's divisive, and there are people on opposite of whatever you were saying that could have been offended who were fans of yours.
Yeah.
So
I think this situation was almost similar to Kevin Hart in the fact that, okay, this came out, you said some things, and this is the only difference is you said some things back in the day, which was old tweets, and then you doubled down and said, oh, I addressed this already, I'm not apologizing, fuck y'all. You get what I'm saying? And that's essentially when things started getting shaky with him. Like, he wasn't able to host the Oscars anymore. And I think it wasn't, and for me with Kevin Hart, it wasn't really because he could have been, he maybe is homophobe or anything like that. It's the fact that you understood what you said back then was wrong, but you still, because you're arrogant,
pride,
double down on what you said, and it comes out worse. It's like you gonna die on that hill. Like, at least if you're gonna argue something, have it with logic. These men did not have any logic. DaBaby didn't have any logic, and I think that he needs to really I think when you get to a certain caliber of fame and fortune and stuff like that, I feel like everything you say is golden, and no one can tell me nothing, and I'm not doubling back on anything, because I'm at a point now where I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? But everything comes with consequence, and that's exactly why they take them out to festivals and all those other brands, and it goes full circle. Okay.
Choices have consequences and rewards. So before you make some erratic choice, make sure that you're prepared to accept the consequences and or rewards of your actions. And that's for anybody in any situation. Do we feel sad for DaBaby?
No.
I feel sad to see a black male artist being. It doesn't make me feel good to see these negative things happening to him, but it also doesn't make me feel good that he did what he did. but I'm able to accept these are the consequences of his actions. He's a grown-ass man. There's a choice you made. These are the repercussions. People have to be more aware of what they're doing, what they're saying. And, you know, the road to hell is paved with good intention. I just don't believe there was any good intention behind what he was saying. Like, we were all raised in the 90s where all the rappers would say, you know, you say stuff to do call and response, but he just took it too far.
Yeah.
Especially in this age where it's not just, they call it cancel culture, but it's like, this is a culture that's always happened. Cancel culture has been around in many different societies for years.
Accountable culture, that's what
it
is.
Right, we're calling you accountable. Like, people used to get stoned for offending the village. You know what I mean? Like, that hurt my feelings. That hurt my feelings too. Did you hurt your feelings? Kill him. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it used to be. So people saying we're just gonna remove our brands from you, or we're gonna, you know, you're gonna miss out on some money for the next 6 months. You're getting off really easy. You know, go to the studio and make a song about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But
and let's be clear, DaBaby's gonna come back from this. Like, unfortunately, when it comes to this illusion of cancel culture, like, yeah, after a couple weeks, brands will be like, all right, people ain't talking about this shit no more. Let's put him back on the festival. You know, put him back on. I don't know if he'll ever get that deal back with Boohoo Man, but he can. I don't know. Shoot, maybe a clothing line to be like, hey, let's want to start a clothing brand. Like, you know, I think it's definitely going to happen. So it's just, you know, it is what it is. But I will say this: we will keep that same energy. For all those people saying that we don't keep the same energy, okay? So you're warned.
Right? Don't fuck up.